Welcome, everyone to the 12th Man Show. Um, wow, today is an interesting day. Been a long day for myself, but I am here and I am focused. This is one of the few things that I actually enjoy these days. So hopefully we don't have any issues or problems and we get through this one with all smiles and brighten up everyone's day, my day included. So let's just get into a little bit of talking about the team we love. Obviously, today we're going to begin somewhere we don't normally begin. We're not going to talk about Virgil. We're not going to talk about maybe Araújo. We're not going to talk about Jeremy Jacquet. Not even with what Liverpool still need possibly in the transfer market just yet in this subject, or at least in this episode, because we're going to talk about something that I think is important to talk about, and it's something that I started to speak on with the guys backstage. And it was something because it's just something that it's something that I am definitely not a fan of. And the sheer fact that I know things do have to evolve and get to a place where you do see, you know, new things happen for your club. But this ownership thing is an enormous headline, I think, that is sometimes getting a little bit overlooked. Um, I know Jeff Bezos, who is the one of the richest men in the world. He's also someone that is often put as the cover face, for this deal for Liverpool Football Club. They will be trying to take on 30% of our club. That's roughly 1.35 billion pounds. Inevitably, social media immediately covered and converted that into Liverpool are getting Bezos money. That was like the comments that you saw. And also, by the way, shout out to Red Armchair Supporter. Hello, I do see you. My apologies for not saying hello earlier. But back to what I was saying is that it's been put as being Liverpool are getting Bezos money, or we're getting Bezos money, basically. And the reality of it is that that's not exactly true. That was never the intelligent version of this story. And I think that's why a lot of this conversation has been really, really ill-informed. Because the more accurate version is that a consortium, including Jeff Bezos, is reportedly close to purchasing a significant minority stake in Liverpool Football Club. Or in, particularly, Liverpool Football Club separate from FSG. They're not getting an FSG share in FSG. They're getting a share in Liverpool. And FSG would remain the controlling owner under the reported structure. That's what is being told or being reported. And that distinction, I think, matters because Jeff Bezos is not reportedly buying Liverpool outright. This is not a takeover. This is a minority investment. And there is another distinction we need to make. If someone pays 1.35 billion pounds for equity in Liverpool Football Club, that does not automatically mean Richard Hughes wakes up tomorrow morning with a 1.35, I'll say it that way, 1.35 billion pound transfer budget. Doesn't mean all of a sudden we're rich in our endeavors and we can buy any player that we want. This is not how it works. Where the money goes depends upon the structure of the transaction. Let's just get it simply put, because there's a lot of different structure of the deal that needs to be stated. But not everyone goes and does this kind of research. But it's a question of who's selling the shares. How much of the capital actually enters the football club? What governance rights come with the stake? What influence does this they want? What does even 30% of this club actually even mean? And most importantly, what changes at Liverpool Football Club because they are here now? If they end up making this deal complete, which it seems like that's going to happen. I'm firmly in the tell me what it actually means first. I am not for this consortium takeover. I am not for the inclusion of these individuals in the club. I, I'm I am I am saying this now because I know realistically you need to hear the truth about what this could how this could impact all of us. And why I say the truth is because when you look at this, what I led with, they put Jeff Bezos as the front figure in this consortium, and he's not. He's not. I would bring up Lee into this conversation as well. Bring up Lee.
Hi everyone.
Getting into some I guess touchy something we spoke on. I was telling the audience this is something that we brought up on backstage, and the thumbnail basically is what exactly are we getting with this new consortium, with this new ownership group that's trying to buy in. Like we all know the questions of how rich is Jeff Bezos. We all know the answer to that. He's very, very rich. But the question is, what can the consortium do with 30% of Liverpool Football Club? Do they receive board seats? Do they have voting rights? Do they have veto rights? Do they have a mechanism to increase their stake later? Is this simply, I got to say something about this because this is something that's slowly but surely gaining momentum as to the point where we've heard takeovers or investment offers that they're going to be made time and time again. But this is, I'll make this picture, I'll enlarge this picture for 1 second. Hold on, let me see if I can get to there. All right. So this is the picture I saw online. And if you look at it, you see how Jeff Bezos is standing in front of all these people.
Mm.
The reason why I'm bringing up what I am bringing up today is because that's what they want you to think. But this is not Jeff Bezos' deal.
He's not interested, is he, really, in football? But like Bathy it is, isn't he? Well, when I say interested, I mean he was QPR, was he? Half man, whatever, owned stakes in QPR or something. I heard.
Oh, you mean Amit Bhatia?
Yeah, Bhatia. Amit Bhatia. Yeah, apparently so he might have a little bit of interest in football, as in he's watched it before. But Bezos, probably not. Probably not a sports guy at all. I wasn't
at all. Not at all. He's not a sports guy. Never really been a sports guy.
The opposite of that, basically.
Right. It isn't some person that has some long dying history of like, a team that he supported from his youth or something like that. None of those interests at all. But this deal is Amit Bhatia's deal. And basically Amit Bhatia, a failed owner of QPR, got his dad or his stepfather. He basically knew that his 30 billion wasn't enough to invest in this company alone by himself. And he had to go out and get other names. And what you do when you get a consortium is you have to get a name that makes you go, okay, I know you have the money. Now, all these guys are rich. But if you look at this photo, Lee, you can see Amit's got 30. This is their net values, obviously, but 30 billion for Amit. Eduardo has 35 billion. Lakshmi has 35 billion. You could add that all up, and that 100 billion still doesn't come close to Bezos is $280 billion. Bezos doesn't need these individuals to be a part of this, but Amit Bhatia needs Bezos to be a part of this because his money isn't going the same distance as Bezos's money. And that's why when I think about it, with the last question that I asked you is that 30% minority investment could also create a future ownership bridge. It could make FSG decide in 5 years that it wants out. This is already a capital risk group inside the club. They already understand the finances. They already understand the governance. They already know FSG. They already own a significant portion of the asset. So this could be nothing more than a minority investment, or it could eventually become something bigger. We could be looking at the potential next owners of this club. We don't know yet. And that's why I'm asking questions. That's why I'm really wanting to get some answers to these questions. So I struggle, but I'm not really feeling this consortium idea. I don't think that if you really, again, once you really look at it, the last thing you want is we don't know. There's been talks, for instance, and I'll ask you, being that you are a Scouser, that you're born and raised, and you've only known one name for this stadium, named Anfield. There are talks that with a Bezos, you could be looking at Amazon Stadium.
No. It's Anfield, mate. We're not in the bloody Amazon. That'd be ridiculous. You'd expect there to be a river or something next to Anfield with little fellas on it and that, you know what I mean, with blow darts or something. No. It's Anfield, Amazon. The nerve of it. I mean, another stadium's one thing, but I mean, if you rename Anfield and call it the Amazon Stadium, then no, I wouldn't be. I'd never call it that. I would never call it that, and I would castigate anybody who did, whether they were on telly and couldn't hear me, or whether they were in the street and said, "Oh, I went to the Amazon Stadium the other day," and say, "You mean Anfield?"
Yeah. That's what you could be. I mean, I heard, for instance, on Copish, and shout out to Drifty and obviously all the. Oh, Drifty's the person that brought it up, obviously. But to Matt and Cal, he brought it up to them and asked them the question of if naming rights, because obviously when you get naming rights for a stadium, you get money. The Etihad's getting money simply because of the name. The Emirates is getting money simply because of the naming rights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you be willing to sell the name of Anfield for, let's say, it's £100 million a year or something? Let's say, I don't know whatever. I don't know exactly what would be the deal that moves you. But
I did say castigate, yeah, but castrate as well was also in my mind, like about people calling it the Amazon Stadium. The naming rights for like the Emirates, etc., the Etihad and all that, yes, right. It has to be taken into consideration. They're the only two that have done it. I mean, United still call Old Trafford Old
Because
Trafford.
it was Arsenal Stadium, right, before it became the Emirates, right? Or what was it called? Highbury, wasn't it? Like something?
Highbury was the old one that they moved from. The Emirates is the new one. I don't know if it was called something before. I think it was just called that straight away because the deal was done when Highbury was still there and he was still using it or something like, with the airline, Emirates. And then, we got the Etihad as well, similar thing. It's an airline in it, Etihad. I mean, the naming rights, but like I say, United haven't changed there. Spurs have moved to a new stadium. If you move to a new stadium, I can understand it, but not renaming the old stadium, which has been called that forever and a day and is very well known as being called that. I mean, but what about the Bernabeu and New Camp, the Bernabeu and New Camp? Like, they're not. They've got deals, haven't they, with like Saudi playing things, but it's not called that, is it? Nobody says, the Real Madrid was the Effie Thump Airline Stadium, and everyone just says the Bernabeu, don't they?
Yeah, but it's got a different name now.
Has it?
I mean, it does. I think they've got it's the Spotify Camp Now.
Okay.
Camp Nou, excuse me. I said now. Camp Nou. It's the Spotify Camp Nou. It's the Etihad Stadium.
Okay, as long as we could keep Anfield in it, then we can call it the Amazon Anfield. Instead of just changing it to Amazon, call it the Amazon Anfield. It's Amazon at Anfield, not down there, like, 6,000 miles away.
I mean, they normally get like, you don't even get that much for the naming rights. I mean, it's usually like, I just did a quick search query, and it's like Camp Nou is getting 20 million euros a year. I mean, it's not chump change. I'm not saying it's nothing, but
20 million euros a year. Mate, that's not that much, is it? Like, when you think about it, like, what can they buy with that? Like, player wise, like 20 million euros, not an awful lot.
Yeah.
No, we can't be changing the name of Anfield, and I don't really want a new stadium. No.
Yeah.
Redevelop Anfield to get, do the cop and the Kenny Dalglish stand, like, and try and make us 80 to 90,000, like. Because obviously, like, the bigger attendances and that, like, it just ups everything, and, like, you can have more money to spend then, can't you? Sort of.
Well, no, you'd be looking. I'm serious. You'd be looking at like Amazon Field at Anfield, or you'd be looking at the Prime Arena. Because they've got Prime is their big thing, or Prime Stadium at Anfield. Is that what you want to? I mean, look, that's what could be in the horizon if you allow for someone that has no interest in the football, but wants to make the most of making a profit or getting some value out of owning the team. And what's one of the sure ways of getting value is to, every time this historic stadium is mentioned, having your company's name plastered on the side of it. That's where it's getting scary. That's where Live Up gets scary. That's where it could get a little scary.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, it's all just mooted, isn't it? Like, but it sounds concrete on something that more than likely will happen at some point, rather than not happening at all. But we've just got to wait and see, haven't we?
The Bezos Bowl.
Well, Brian mentioned, he said, like, even if they bought in and that, like, it doesn't necessarily mean we'll have any more money to spend because it's going on FSG's other things, isn't it? It's just making FSG a little bit wealthier.
Well, FSG gets to dictate where and how that money gets allocated. It's FSG's asset in the sense of it's FSG's team. You're buying in 30% into the team, not into FSG. You're buying 30% you're buying 30% of the shares that FSG owns in this company or in this club. And again, it gets to, do they now 30%, do they have a veto? Do they have the right to a veto on the board? Are they going to be looked at as being the governing power? Look at, for instance, what's going on with Manchester United. The group that took over Manchester United, it's not necessarily a consortium, but I mean, like but in a sense, like when Manchester United got this new ownership group into the club, they don't own a majority stake of Manchester United. Glazers do. I mean, I double check and see. I'm almost positive. Excuse me.
The Glazers still own the majority, as far as I know, and it's a minority stake that Jim Ratcliffe got in it.
Ratcliffe owns 28.94%. So he owns like close to 30% of the initial stake was 27.7. Now his stake is up to 28.94. So they must have something where with the longer ownership, with the longer tenure of his ownership, he gets a larger percentage maybe. And it might rise up to a certain amount. But it says that he owns 28.94%. And despite holding a minority percentage, his agreement grants him full control over the company's football operations. So, like, basically, when he negotiated his deal, he said, I'm going to give you 30%, but I want to run the club. And it's like, you only own 30%. You don't own 70% of the club. And he's like, yeah, but you're not actively, you're my partners. You're not actively participating in the day-to-day of the overseeing the ownership. I'm here in England. I can run this club for us as a group. I know I own 1/3 of it, or basically 1/3 of the shares, but still, I would like to be the person that does the day-to-day work for our group. All you have to do is just sit back and collect your checks, Glazers. Glazers were like, say less.
It's great deal for them, yeah. Great deal for them. I mean, somewhere between a quarter and a third of the shares, that in 28%, 28.5%, or whatever you said it was. Just somewhere between a quarter and a third of all of the overall shares. So yeah, he is very much, really. Yeah, that's very much a minority. If you look at it, like if you compare that to 72% that isn't owned by him.
Yeah, and that's what that's why you listen to what happened with that money. Ratcliffe spent over 700 million buying out the portion of the Glazers, Class B shares. It's because it's like Manchester United is a publicly owned company, so it's a little bit different with how it's worked out. You know what I mean? But they bought out the portion of the Class B shares and open market Class A shares. That's what they call it, right? And meaning the bulk of the primary purchase cash went straight to the Glazers. So it's not like, Manchester United got flush with cash, and now all of a sudden Manchester United's like, okay, cool, we're gonna make this money and utilize it to, fix the toilets or do something with the money with the grounds or buy players. No. That money went straight to the Glazers' pockets. And then Ratcliffe had to put in an extra 300 million. That's about like 236 million pounds of separate direct investment into Manchester United. So that because that was a part of the deal, in that he said, okay, well, great, you get my 700 million, but the grounds still suck. The facilities still suck. There's still a lot of work to do. And
I remember when they used to laugh at Anfield because of the state of Anfield before we had the 2 extensions and that, and just how old, and like, you just laughed at it all the time, like, went, oh, but now it's theirs. It's like looking old and crap and dilapidated, like, it's not the 90s anymore, mate.
But that's what they did. I'm going to bring in JK in 1 second. I'm just going to finish the explanation. By bringing in the money that they did, or by taking the 700 million, I said $100 million. That's American dollars. By taking that money, they pocketed it, the Glaziers. Then they said to Radcliffe, cool, we're going to ask you for another close to $300 million. Again, Americans, like 200 some odd million, 240 million, I think, or 235. What did I say? 236, something like that, million, right? Of pounds. We're going to ask you to take that extra 230 some odd million pounds and invest it in direct investment into the club, meaning direct investment into earmarked for the club facilities and for Old Trafford and for the team and all this other stuff, right? Cool. In exchange for that, that's when they said, you can run the team. Now, our situation isn't, Bezos doesn't know how to run a team. Again, I'll bring up the names of this, and I want to bring JK into this, because I know JK knows a little bit of something about these individuals. And I know this is something that he wanted to talk about because it's something that we were talking about backstage. If you look at these individuals, Batia, excuse me, there are people that ran QPR from a club that made the Premier League and got dropped out and never looked back at getting back into the Premier League, right? Saverin is a Brazilian that moved to America, made his money through hedge funds. I don't know too much about what his pursuit of glory is. Obviously, he's got the Brazilian background, so maybe he does have an interest in football. But that's just stereotyping, and who knows if that's reality or not.
Yeah.
But you have 4 individuals here, 2 of which have failed at football clubs, and 2 of which they don't have any background in football clubs, and one of them that certainly doesn't have an interest in football.
Yeah, I think it's more the rule with billionaires that they're just not into sport. Like, you will find, obviously, you're going to find dozens who are, and you can't say there aren't any, but in general, people like that don't tend to be big sport fans, like, or don't hold any, real torch for sport, like, because their life's been something completely different, mostly with people like that.
Mm-hmm. I just find it a dangerous precedent to be setting with football in general, with these consortiums and the likes, because especially when you have 4 people now that you possibly are going to have in this boardroom that could have 4 different visions and versions of what they want for this club.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's that old expression that my grandmother used to say. I remember, too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, spoil the broth. Yeah, exactly that.
We used to have a family doctor armchair with the same name, Dr. Mittel. Don't know if you pronounce it. Is it Mittal or Mittel? Would you say it like in?
I think it's Mittel, I would say. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bless the red armchair. Yeah, for me, bro. When you look at that picture up there, would you give your house keys to any of them? No, you wouldn't. So for me, I ain't giving them at Liverpool. Simple as that.
The sad fact is they probably own that. They probably already own the land that the house is on.
That's on. You know what I mean? But that's a different story.
Well, he made the keys, didn't he, with his steel? This fella, he's the steel fella, and he's something. This metal.
He's a steel guy, yeah. But as what Twal said about QPR and stuff, so they've been in football, and they haven't really made QPR a team to be sort of considering like they're going to come back into the Premier League and stuff like that. They're a Championship side, lower sort of lower end and stuff like that. But all in all, bro, it's the spirituality of the club. For me, Liverpool's a spiritual club. These guys ain't really spiritual for me, hence why I would never give these guys the keys. And I think, and them days are gone where Chelsea and Man City came in with the big bucks and started spending crazy and got away with it and win trophies and stuff. You can't do that no more. So these guys have, it's like, we might as well just have these owners what we still got now, because the money ain't going to really increase unless these guys are saying, you know what, we're not going to do what the FSG did by not spending 5 windows out of 6. We're going to spend every window at least 100, at least, or one player in, at least, you know what I mean?
What I could see them doing, real quick interjection, what I can see them doing is with I don't know, you're talking about the other individuals, in the likes of like the steel makers and stuff like that, and I know the other one's a hedge fund guy, the individual from Brazil, but at least with Bezos, he does have commercial capabilities. We've already seen the fact that Amazon Prime, which is what the video arm of Amazon, we've already seen what they intend to do. I wouldn't be surprised with the Amazon. I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool were all of a sudden the next Wrexham, being marketed, having cameras follow them and making them into a television show. I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden, with Bezos's interest, that there's connections there, which they would open up very much connections, marketing connections, and opportunities. Still the same. As JK is saying, do you want to sell your soul to the devil, almost, in the sense? Do you want to sell your soul for this money? And it's why, again, a lot of what, when we get into these conversations, when we get into, sometimes even heated debates about football players, about transfers, and about direction of the club and everything else. And sometimes even myself, I get with my football romantic version of myself, I get into these things about talking about, the player having heart, or the player loving the badge, and such and such. You got to recognize these are the reasons why Liverpool really do resonate so much pride and vigilance with us. I think personally, from my perspective, because it is a different entity. It's not some Manchester City that got like pumped with oil money and all of a sudden is a world name. It's not some situation where you had some individual that's a friend of Putin and with alleged blood diamonds. I don't know if I'm not gonna go that far, in a sense, just taking his money and pumping it into Chelsea. It's not a case where you have these situations. It's a case where you have something that is a team of the people, a team that represents Liverpool so much so that without Liverpool, many people would not know of Liverpool. They are a global ambassador for the city. And now we are about to water down the product, possibly.
Not good, For me, football should have a vote where the fans of that club decide who they want. Simple as that. I've seen a few fans, oh great, let's get them and this and that, and I've seen a lot who were like, no, yeah, we don't want these people here. So when you look at the bigger picture, I would say more is saying, like, I'm saying no, I think you're saying no. Lee, yes or no, bro?
What's to them taking out, to them getting the % to stay?
Yeah.
I think I prefer it not to happen if it's not going to make any difference to us. Like, as fans, like getting more transfer money and that than now. But if it goes ahead, I'm not going to like wet myself, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people are doing. I'll just deal with it, you know what I mean?
Surprising, yeah. But then again, I'll tell you, JK, before you join, Lee was already calling it Amazon Stadium at Anfield. So he was already comfortable with that.
I think I've seen Trudon wrote something like Amazon Anfield Prime.
Anfield Prime. Oh my goodness.
Even sounds good.
It does have a ring to it, and that's the scary thing about it.
It sounds actually
or
good.
Maybe like Prime
Look,
Anfield or something.
If he says whoever's a Liverpool fan around the world, you've all got free Amazon Prime TV for the life, that's cool. And then if he says, you know what, everyone on every order you do on Amazon, you get an extra 10% off on everything you buy. All you got to do is prove it. You
know what he could do? Again, I don't know why we're giving Bezos ideas. Bezos, if you take our ideas, I want a percentage, or I want to be cut into somehow. We all three of us want to be cut into some type of ownership for these ideas. But I could see him doing something. Whereas, if you are a Amazon subscriber, you get access to Liverpool TV, something along those lines, or something.
And the thing is,
that's what they do with other entities here in America. That's what they do. Like as if you own, like as in if you have a if the person owns the club, he ties in that team to be linked with that parent company.
Yeah.
And we had to link up with LeBron, didn't we, through FSG? Because they knew him through the like sports network or whatever. Like we had that link up, didn't we? Like that was ages ago now, like wasn't it?
Yeah, but you know what it is though? These sort of characters linked to Liverpool, like LeBron, and like, come on, man. It's like
There's
a marketing side of it. I understand, blah blah blah. But for me, you got to understand Liverpool are a different club to any other club in the world. There's a reason why we support Liverpool, and now seeing these sort of news break.
Oh my goodness,
horrible.
That is, sorry. Trudon just said something that is probably a natural progression. If they didn't name the stadium, I don't mind it too. I take my standard charter. Normally, I try to take the standard charter off my kits in one way or another. I would like to cover it up if I could, but he's saying standard charter sponsors up for renewal next season. It's an ideal time to possibly get Amazon. So rather than standard charter, you see Amazon.
Don't mind it as a sponsor. If it goes down that route, it's not a bad sponsor name, but like exotic.
Could do something,
but not the stadium. Can't be having the stadium called the Amazon Stadium or the Prime Stadium or some shit. Like, can't be having that.
Lee, I'm glad to see that you've stepped back from that ledge. Because it sounds
it doesn't work, does it? It sounds pretty ridiculous, you know what I mean? I mean, Anfield's quite rough, like, but it's not like the Amazon or something, mate, you know what I mean?
I'm glad you're taking a step back from that. I could see it, but I could also see not only maybe the standard charter being replaced by them, but I could also see us maybe going the route of doing what Manchester City did, which is dictating what is going to be a incredibly, maybe even well over market value deal for the titling rights. You see the 20 million for Etihad, and all of a sudden maybe Amazon gives us 50 million. I mean, what is 50 million for Etihad is one thing. The amount of money that Amazon makes is ridiculous.
I don't want no name change. I want Anfield to stay Anfield. I don't want no sponsor on there. I don't want no Emirates style and this and Emirates. Emirates is a company. It's like it's a And that's what you're calling your football stadium. It's the name of your product. It's like just weird. I'm not having Anfield. As soon as that name thing comes up in the air, Liverpool fans need to really take a step back and say, you know what, we can't let that happen. Anfield is Anfield. You know.
So I saw Trudon is for it. We all knew Trudon would be for it. We all knew that. He's all about show me the money. We get that. He's got his mind on his money, and his money is on his mind. But Red Armchair supporter, tell us, would you be for this deal? Are you for bringing in this consortium? And anyone else that's part of the chat that hasn't spoke up, or maybe sitting around chilling, just listening, just tell us, would you? Or if necessary, I can make a poll for it. And Dar's not in the chat, so he won't get mad. And that's all love. It's not a shot at Dar at all. Are you for this consortium? I think that what the group is doing definitely needs some answers given. And the Spirit of Shankly group is right to ask, what does this mean? They know they don't have any real say in whether the deal goes forward or not, but be transparent. And if anything, John W., if I may call you that, since you gave us, I guess I can, since you've given us a jet and a yacht. John, you were transparent when you took over this club. You said we're going to be a self-sufficient club. We're going to do things a certain way. If you're now bringing in people that might have different prospects, different ideas, different conceptions of how to get things done, let us know what it is that we're getting into with them. I think that's only fair. I don't know if you disagree or not, but I think that's only fair.
Yeah. But like for me, I think we're not all born yesterday and stuff. We already know of what's going to happen. Exploitation, they're going to use Liverpool as a marketing tool for their companies and this and that. The heavy metal stadium.
That's actually pretty good. It's only good if we get Klopp back. That would be good.
Yeah, but all in all, bro, not for me.
Take this call. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, bro. Yeah, and for me, all in all, I think, as I said before, if it was like that Chelsea era, City era, where they came in with their dollars and they just started splashing cash, sound in that way. If you're into that energy entering our football club, like for me, people ain't just looking at that. Like these people, for me, don't really give two damns about Liverpool, bro. For me, the owners are just looking at, okay, if we want to sell this club, we know we are guaranteed to get paid by that Amazon lad, because he's got the moolah to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's why the owners are probably waiting for to get an entity they know they ain't gonna have no messing around with the fee to get paid, and that's why for me they've gone for this guy and these guys, because they know they're gonna get paid out of that. They can sell the club for $5 billion. Who's gonna pay for it? These guys will. So they know that with this guy, it's guaranteed paid. Hence why for me, FSG are looking at. That's what they're doing that for. Yeah. And they don't Jeff Bezos, he good businessman, this, that, and the other. He's done really well for himself, you know what I mean? But we don't know these people. And Liverpool is that's our thing, you know what I'm saying? And we just like, here's the keys for it. Come on, man. No owners, they always say that. People say that, oh, no owners are great and this and that. Come on, yeah, of course owners want to make money. But when you got a club like Liverpool, you generate so much cash and that, you're going to get paid, no problem, no matter what. And you even can sell it for more. Because if you get success on the pitch, your value of the club gets bigger, blah, blah, blah. And so it's a money maker. But at the end of the day, or which way are you going to... As soon as that name of the stadium change news comes out, then I know it's going to go the way I think it's going to go. I don't want no Prime, no Amazon or anything like that to do with Anfield. That Anfield is like a church, it's like a temple, it's a spiritual place where you go to. You can't have no sponsor on that. That you get a sponsor on that, we ain't winning jack shit ever again.
Well, this is actually interesting, I guess, connection between the ownership story and today's, I guess, football conversation. We've all seen how FIFA's attempt to privatize the World Cup has kind of already fallen on deaf ears, as in the sense of there was a pushback by UEFA, and they've given it up, but yet still FIFA board members all say they're behind, all standing behind the behind FIFA, and I guess when it comes to a lot of this, both are fundamentally about succession, these stories that we have. And what I mean by that is this next segment that I had ready for us, connected to some of the stuff that we talked about yesterday, and that is, how do you bring something new into Liverpool without carelessly destroying something valuable that already exists? And why I bring that up is because we are about to embark on the next era of football, defensive football for this club, the center back berth or center back future for this club. And I think it's what I call this section would be succession without eviction, because I'm going to establish the factual base. Virgil van Dijk signed a new Liverpool contract. He remains the captain. Obviously, not recently, but obviously, I'm not saying just now, but he signed an extension along with Mohamed Salah. Salah has chosen to end his contract with this club. Virgil van Dijk has not. He remains central to the team. He remains the most experienced defensive organizer, I think, inside this squad, and possibly, arguably, still the best defender in the world, if not especially in England. He is also 35 years old. 35 years old is old in football terms. I get that. That is not controversial, though. Because Liverpool absolutely should be preparing for life after Virgil van Dijk. I'm not scared of that. I'm not issuing some fantasy land thinking that we will have Virgil van Dijk to take care of us for the rest of our lives. But somehow we've allowed for us to be at this place where we don't have really center halves that we're confident can be the next progression, the next Virgil, the next leader. Liverpool needs succession to become Liverpool. To become the Liverpool should sell Virgil now is ridiculous. Those are not the same argument. That's not something I'm even remotely trying to issue. But if Liverpool received a £35 million offer for Virgil tomorrow, Lee, are you selling? Do you take it? Maybe.
And no. The Virgil, 35 million, did you say?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't take that, no. No way.
If you want Gravenberch and Endo as our centre-back pairing against Newcastle away first game, yeah, sell him tomorrow. For me, Virgil van Dijk, bro, even if you offered 100 million, 200 million right now, you couldn't let him go. You just couldn't do that. Because we're in a bit of a pickle. And I couldn't just add this, that...
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Take your time.
If everything ran smoothly the way it should have, in a weird sort of way, would be sound now. If Leone and Jacquet never got injured, and they both went to the American tour, played every game, got
Yeah.
fit in the red
Different conversation. We're having a different conversation.
Different conversation. So we wouldn't be in this sort of little pickle we got in now. And add Van Dijk to that. Perfect. What Van Dijk can do this season is bring them into the setup and show them how it's done, and help them along that journey. And
heck, if we were talking about Gomez being less injury, prone than he is, then we're having a completely different conversation. We're looking at Gomez probably being our first tier center half. To be honest with you, because I think Gomez is a phenomenal center half when fit.
Any news on his fitness? Nothing. We don't hear nothing anymore about fitness about any of our players like we did in the old days. We used to. No, but shush, don't say nothing. We don't know Jack. Ain't heard nothing. Nothing. This, that, and the other. That's a bit weird. They're showing more interest in like them 4 guys who were on the screen a minute ago, that they're interested in buying us, than we're actually about the players who can actually save us from having a bad season. Conor Bradley, what's happening? Ekatike, let us know. Gomez, what's happening? Let us know.
Yeah, he's looked at
whether.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I did see one update, but I'll put it into the chat. I'll put it in the chat for Joe Gomez.
Before that game, I said a little thing like, Gomez, it's your season, Gomez. Stay fit.
I know.
It's your time, bro. Konate took it off you for a while, which I think, when you look at the bigger picture, Konate, oh, God. You know what I mean? We gave it, because of Gomez's injuries, he's 28 years old, bro. Right now, he should be prime time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I don't know what it is with big up. Don't. Oh my goodness, Rasta, the streets. The streets heard us maybe talking about Joe Gomez. So now don't start Joe. Don't get the streets started on Joe Gomez. There's only one other person. There's only one other person I think that is so critical of Joe Gomez, other than the streets, which AKA Rasta Crab, and that is a friend of mine, at least friend of the channel too, I guess as well. You can say it that way because he definitely supports us. But he's someone that I work with here, Duffy, my friend Duffy, loyal Liverpool fan here.
And Atlanta loves
See what I'm saying with Crab. Oh my goodness! If he retires, if we think we're screwed now. Oof. No.
Think about this: Gomez and Virgil leave next season.
Wow. Think about this: Virgil has another 2 seasons after this season, or at the very least.
Bro.
There's no way I would. Positive. I'm well more in the camp that he's got more than this last season in him at Liverpool. He's got more somewhere, and I think it's at Liverpool. I mean, it's going to be hard this season because if we don't bring enough players in, but I think if Araujo works and he's fit and that, Leone and Xhaka are fit, even Joe as well, if he can get fit, we are covered then. If they're mostly fit a lot of the time, you know what I mean, and we've got options, then we're covered, and we can rest them sometimes, like early League Cup rounds and all that. Remember we played Barnsley or something last year, and we had to play him because we just had to, you know what I mean? But that type of game, we could give him a rest because at least he's going to get a rest now on international breaks, which is brilliant. He was very proud to lead Holland, and I was made up for him because I always wanted for our players that they do well at international level. But then again, the players that don't play internationals, I'm also happy for them if they don't want to. You know, the way Milner retired early, Matip had fallen out with the Cameroon coach, hadn't he? And didn't bother, and that was all helpful to us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a unique situation with Gomez. I'm a fan of Gomez. I think what hurts the most about Gomez, real quick, is that there's no other bigger. I think the only bigger fan of Gomez probably would be Alante. Alante that's his guy. But I would even go as far as to say I believe, honestly, that Joe Gomez was possibly the best center back pair for Virgil van Dijk. Yeah, I know some people are going to probably say Matip, but I'm not. It's close. I'm not saying it's. I'm not saying it's. He's hands down, but I would go as far as to say I think Joe Gomez was, when healthy, he was possibly the best constructive pair to put with Virgil van Dijk because of the skill sets that he had, and was able to obviously cover both sides, able to pass, able to carry the ball, able to show veteran leadership and understand the game. He has obviously lost a little bit of a step, but when he was at his peak, he was one of the fastest center halves in the league. I just think that there's a lot that Joe Gomez brought to the game that unfortunately we're not able to see, only because of the injuries that he sustains. So maybe you think differently. I don't know, Lee, if you think.
All you can do with any player suffering with injuries a lot is just cross your fingers, isn't it? And that's the way it's got to be, like, really, now. You just hope the players are going to be fit, because he's got the versatility as well. I need to play right back, left back, either side, in central defence, even the 6 in a pinch, as we saw in Klopp's last season. But yeah, his fitness has suffered badly in recent years, in as much as he can't be fit for months at a time the way he used to be. It seems to only be weeks at a time now. So that is concerning. But, it happens, doesn't it? It happens with players.
Does Araújo, does the addition of Araújo change the question? What I mean by that is, like, with Araújo arriving, you have a 27-year-old. I don't know why people. You said 33 initially, and you even got me saying 33 in the beginning of the yesterday's segment. And I was
like, that was Brian. Brian said it yesterday, right? Or the day before. I was on Brian's show, and I said, "Oh, like, he's about 20. He's about 27, 26, 27, 28." And he said, "No, he's 33." And I was like, "What? He's 33?"
He must have been like, he
must have been messing around. Maybe I think he might have been messing around.
Yeah, like tongue-in-cheek style, like,
Yeah, because it's not like him to be that far wrong. Probably, with the age thing.
But let's get it. He's got more than 200 Barcelona appearances. He's got international football under his reign. He's got major match experience, obviously, with Barcelona. He's one of the first things he talks about is the opportunity to play with Virgil van Dijk. He says Virgil van Dijk's a role model, someone he can learn from, which is fantastic to hear. Being that we were just talking about Joe Gomez being a 28-year-old, I believe Joe Gomez is 28, being a 28-year-old player, and how, like, we would love the fact of him being at, the pinnacle of his career with injuries. Araújo has injuries himself. He's had some issues. He's only played close to 1/3, as you pointed out yesterday, Lee. He only played like about 1/3 of the La Liga games for Barcelona, though.
Well, his appearances, I looked at that, his appearances for the last season were about 34, so there might have only been about 11 league starts, like, but he was a sub a lot, and obviously started, like, cup games in whatever cups a few times, like, so he did have quite a bit of action, and that gave me that, gave me a bit of heart that maybe he isn't like the crock some people are saying he is, like, moaning before he's even bloody, like, took to the pitch for us. That gave me a bit of heart, that, when I seen that.
Can I ask you this question? And JK answer this question as well. Does Araújo have, as some of the youth say, the minerals to be the successor to Virgil van Dijk?
Maybe in terms of his seniority in the squad. Say if Virgil left and he stayed, if we bought Araújo and he became like the senior centre back, maybe then. But really, as a centre back, he's a bit different, and he like his thing.
Roster Craps thinks Roster Craps at 100%. He can, if he stays fit, Araújo be the heir apparent. That's a quote from Roster Crap.
Well, it'd be good, yeah. I mean, I'll be made up if it goes swimmingly. You know, if he spends the greater portion of the season fit, I'll be so made up, because it will make a few of our fans who've been whinging already look like twats, which they deserve to sometimes, some of our fans, like, for moaning too much too quickly about players. And that'd be great, you know, if he was fit for the lion's share of the Premier League games, say like 28, 30 of them, or 38, that'd be brilliant. And that'd be a lot of help to Iraola, a hell of a lot of help to Iraola, especially because we can have him playing right back as well. You know, if we don't buy a right back, like, and Bradley can't prove his fitness, he gives us a good defensive right back, doesn't he? Joe's got the same thing as him, in that he's a good defensive right back, but he's got to be fit, Joe, and he, like, so, like, Frimpong, I mean, it could be a good one, that, having, like, Araújo, say, at right back with Xhaka and Virgil. We could see that, couldn't we, like, in some of the away games, the hard away games and that, like, if they're all fit at the same time, that is, you know, don't want to take anything for granted.
I mean, yeah, of course, you know, I mean, who knows, if Leone or Jaquette could stay fit, you know, maybe we're looking at a question that already answers itself, but I mean, yeah, 1000%, that's funny crap. I don't think who is the closest thing to VVD out there? Who is the closest center half in the world, do you think, out there to VVD? I don't mean by closest thing as in like maybe I don't necessarily mean like in like who's VVD's number one, who's number two.
You mean in style of play?
Yes, exactly.
The type of centre back he is. That's quite a hard one. That, like, who will be next most like him out of who there is in the world. Quite sure, actually.
Yeah, it's a tough one, right? I see that Crab said nobody, but he did say Saliba, maybe. Excuse me. I think that that'll probably be the consortium of answers would probably be Saliba is very, very close to being the next apparent. But I don't even think that Saliba is on that level just yet. I guess you know what. I guess I say that because, like, I always think of Virgil van Dijk as being, you know, obviously generational, but also the sheer fact of Saliba is a talent, but I don't even think he's the best center back on his team currently. I would never say that Gabriel is remotely close to being in mention of Virgil van Dijk, but I would say that Gabriel had a better year, or was the better center back last season for Arsenal.
Yeah, I think he's probably more comparable in his playing style to Gabriel out of the two Arsenal ones. I think, like, Saliba is probably the clearest rival in the Premier League to be in the best, but he's not the same type of centre back as Virgil. Like, he's a bit different, but equally good. Like, if you know what I mean, at what he does best. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, Leone's one, isn't he? Like, who we're looking to maybe succeed Virgil, like, ball playing, like authoritative figure in our defense type of guy. Like,
the chat. Our two Rosses in the chat, Ross the Crab and Red Armchair Supporter, are both saying that they like Kubarsi, Pau Kubarsi.
Good player, very good player.
Plays for Barcelona. Maybe a part of the reason why. Araujo became, disposable from Barcelona, considering that he's obviously going to be their future. 6 foot tall, 19-year-old kid too, very, very young, talented player. It's a question. I don't know. I don't know if
I like Pau Torres, and Pau Torres is good, and he's doing well for Emery, and Villa are doing well.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like Villa to add to the Europa League by mugging PSG for the Super Cup if they could. I mean, Spurs nearly done it last season, mate. Spurs took PSG all the way last season before PSG finally won. I'd like Villa and Emery to get one over on them, maybe. Like, be nice for Villa, be good for Villa to have that as well. It'll be a big buzz for them and everything. Like, and I don't have no grudge against Villa, you know what I mean? It's like good, I'll be pleased with that, like. Be excellent.
You know what is funny? I want to hear your take on this too, Lee. Go ahead. Do you just something to say? I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to ask you a question.
No.
All right, let me ask the chat this question. And you, Lee. Lee, you're obviously going to be the one that can verbally contend with it. But the name that, aside from Saliba, the name that gets touted as being stylistically, as we were just talking about, not saying with credentials and all the other stuff that goes along with it, but stylistically, the successor to Virgil van Dijk, the name that I've seen out there, Mickey van de Ven. Do you agree with that?
I like him more because there aren't many options, but like he's signing a new contract. There's no way they're going to give him up, Spurs. Like, they're trying to build something. They'll let go of Romero, by the sounds of it, probably like to Atletico Madrid, but Mickey van der Ven, I don't think he's going anywhere. He's going to be staying at Spurs. Look, I had a bad cob on with him after the Isaac tackle because he meant it, mate. He might not have meant to put him out for 6 months, like, but he meant to put him off. He meant to get him off the pitch. He meant to hurt him, mate. That's what it was done for. He wanted him off the pitch, and that's exactly what he got. But and I'll budge on that. But like, I could easily forget that if we bought him, like with the pace he's got. The only thing with him, he's another one who's had injury problems. Like when he first arrived at Spurs, we didn't seen him a bit, and then he was out forever and a day. That's why they had that first really bad season they had, because both him and Romero were out at the same time for most of the season, and they struggled like hell. Not last season, the one before. But yeah.
I'm only asking. It's not my opinion. I'm just asking. That's just something that I've seen out there in the intrawebs. I think that's what they say sometimes, right? That's just something I just saw. I saw that, and the reason why they said it was because the reason why I what they were saying, at least in some of these forums, was that Van de Ven has the recovery ability of a Virgil van Dijk, which he does. Van de Ven is a fast player. He's good in the air, and he has good recovery pace, and one unique thing about him being on the left side, being that Virgil plays on the left side now, he would be a left-footed center half that you could put in that left center back role. I'm not saying that Van de Ven is Virgil van Dijk, not at all. But
see, the thing with that, Virgil's always played the left hand side for us, hasn't he? But he has played right hand side for Holland alongside Van de Ven and Ake before him. So I don't think it would be interesting to see Virgil on the right hand side of our centre back pairing. Like if we had
I've been pushing for that for the longest.
Especially if we have a good new right back who I mean was a really good defender, first and foremost. Never mind what he's like going bloody forward. Have a new right back who defends brilliantly. That Brentford fella's goes in, Coyote, is it? He looks good, mate. He looks solid as well. Really good, tough, strong defender. That's the type of thing I'm thinking of. And I want us to have a better defence, like, you know what I mean? Because last season was horrible. The amount of goals we conceded, like, don't want to be going through that in subsequent seasons. Like, you know, we're going to probably concede quite a few this season because he's trying to get his thing right, you know, like his plan and his way of playing and that. So we probably concede more than we'd like to this season, but as long as it's less than last season.
Would you do? I know that we have our center back position probably pretty much assured right now with Araújo being brought in, but hypothetically, let's say Spurs comes up and says, you know what, we want Cody Gakpo. And to show our commitment to that, we are going to do a straight up swap for Mickey Van de Ven for Cody Gakpo. Are you making that deal?
What they allowed us to, yes. I think it's more likely that Jed Spence could be thrown in or some sort of thing. And
Jed Spence is not being thrown in. He's not.
I mean, like, instead of Van de Ven, I can't see them letting go of Van de Ven. So I'm just saying, in realistic terms,
I don't think it's necessarily them wanting to give up on Van de Ven. Van de Ven has actually somewhat put it out there in the atmosphere, in the stratosphere, I should say, that he is wanting to play Champions League football. He's wanting to be a part of a team that's going to be competing for silverware. And he is
not in the Champions League last season, weren't they, Spurs? After winning the Europa League.
And I think that's the reason why he is looking at it as he wants to continue on that ascent, as opposed to playing on a team that just barely narrowly avoided relegation last season.
Well, the thing is, that Van Ekker's left-footed, didn't he? So they got two now. They got two left-footers. And if Romero goes, they got Danso and a couple of other people, haven't they? But Danso, sorry. Even that Ben Davies fella, if he's still bloody going as another left-footer, like, they'll have a surplus of left-footed centre-backs, Spurs. But, I mean, all I've seen is the talk about Romero going to Atletico, that he maybe wants out and wants Atletico because it'd be a good club for him. He'd suit them, like the way he conducts himself, like on the football field. He very much suits Atletico Madrid. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. I do like Van de Ven though because of his pace, and he is a good player aside from that.
I know. I have. Okay, you're off mute. I put you on mute because I heard something crack with your mic. Buzz, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it was just playing up. Look, for me, Van de Ven, after that, I took tackle. I took him off the shopping list.
Oh, you did, you?
Mate, I was going off the head. Like, others said, oh no, he didn't mean it. And it's like,
dude,
what were you watching?
My apologies.
He even looked at him as he was doing it, like as if to say, here I come, feel this. You know what I mean? Wanted him off the pitch, like. He might not have meant it to be 6 months, but he meant to put his off the pitch. I mean, he just scored a bloody goal. He was in the action of scoring a goal when he got done, weren't he?
What are you saying, 12?
I was gonna say, I have a simple way to maybe bring you back on, to allow for him to maybe join your graces. I don't know. What's the main street? Was it Church Street? Is that the main street in Liverpool? Is that like
It's
the big
one of them: Church Street, Lord Street,
Lord Street,
Renshaw
right?
Street.
Okay. What would you say is the most like, what is the main street in Liverpool? What would you say?
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Maybe like it could be Church Street or Lord Street. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's do Church Street because it has a little bit better ring. Maybe we could do, if Van de Ven were to come to Liverpool, maybe we could do what they did in Game of Thrones and we do the shame and have him
Oh yeah.
walk the
Yeah,
Church Street.
through the streets, like not really
And
whipping them badly though, like showing it. It's just in
not
mock,
whipping him, not whipping him.
in a
Just
mock
not
action,
whipping
like to
him.
show how distasteful we thought that tackle was.
It's
Say,
just,
look, we're
it's
gonna
just
love you
Isak.
like once you
Isak.
get on the pitch, but first you have to go through this trial to satisfy our fans who are still upset about the tackle.
No, we could have Isak walking behind him with like this bell just saying shame, shame, or something. And then all's forgiven, right? No.
Hey, Jonathan Price was good in that one. Is that fella Harry Sparrow? Some shit like it was good in. I like Jonathan Price. He's a good actor.
He is a good actor. Excellent actor.
I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's a fun one. All right. I see Rasta Crab thinks I need to go to Church Street. Oh no. I got you.
Take the street out.
Yeah.
Needs to go to church.
I'll ask, since we're at confessions, how about this confession? Do you think that we need a defensive midfielder on this team? Or do you think, and this is just hypothetically, do you think that we can still do we could do something of maybe Maka or even Grav holding it down, or maybe even Dominic Szoboszlai playing that defensive midfielder role, or maybe here's a crazy notion, Endo holding down that defensive role as DM, and utilizing Endo and Trey Neone to make a good succession to bring Trey Neone in as the permanent DM for us. Hopefully that way we can even maybe see, hypothetically, even Bashetic get back his fitness and return and maybe be a part of that pivot. If not, be something of the platoon with Trey Neone. But do you think that we need do we still need a true defensive midfielder, or are we ready to say that Trey Neone should be given the pathway towards earning that title?
Like right now, today, my midfield against Newcastle away is Szoboszlai, Trey Neone, Wirtz. They've got a new team. Their midfield is gone. Tonali and Guimaraes both gone. So it isn't their solid midfield that we used to have a battle against back in the days, So right now, I'm going to train Neone to start, unless we buy, say, a Kone or someone like this.
All right.
I would take a DM. I like DMs. DMs are like the third centre back. Roma Casado ran through our midfield last season, scored away against Chelsea, just bang. We can't let that happen no more. It takes away all the greatness we could do attacking wise. So we've got to really think about that. This lad's come from Barcelona now. I'd love to take another right back or a player who can play another. Like you got Jed Spence, rumours are there. That Gustavo Reed, I think his first name's Gustavo. In Holland, he's about 25 million. Can we rely on Conor Bradley and Frimpong to stay fit all season? No, we cannot. Last season, Szoboszlai and Jones played that role more than them guys.
There's no, finish your thought. I'm sorry.
But to me, a DM, two wingers and a right back would be really nice right now. That's 4 players now.
DM, 2 wingers and a right back. Okay. I mean, Rojo does play right back.
Yeah. Yeah, but who are we going to partner Virgil will then? Because
I mean, you now have
Xhaka-
two. You now have two center backs in Gomez and Araujo as being. I know. Don't. I know.
I'm not going to say it, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. and I do agree with what Crab is saying here too.
Mm-hmm.
I like Calvin Ramsey as a player. I think he's a good player, and I'm hoping with this coach he gets an opportunity to maybe showcase himself. Now, I'm not saying he's the starting right back, immediately this season, but I think that he could be, the same way we use Simicast, we could use Ramsey in essence. Because Simicast is not going to be getting major minutes, but I do believe that Ramsey could be a viable candidate. You got to recognize Ramsey was a player that was looked at as being the Trent Alexander-Arnold, not say replacement, but the heir to Trent Alexander-Arnold's role at right back. Whether Trent Alexander-Arnold got moved into the midfield or whether he stayed at right back and continued to play until he eventually, was succeeded by Ramsey. But that was the initial idea.
It was. We had Robbo,
yeah.
Scott at left back, didn't we? And we were like he was being talked of, as like another boss Scottish like fullback, but on the other side. It just never happened, is it? Like got injured before he even made an appearance. So
Ramsey got an assist this preseason. If not, I think he got an assist this preseason already.
He did. Yeah. For Chiesa, was it? Yeah, it was Chiesa. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I remember that little slide board. Chiesa just ran in and scored. Look, Ramsey for me, it's a cheap option. He's at the club.
Mm-hmm.
Get him involved. This friendly against Como.
Mm-hmm.
He has to play a lot there. Frimpong was given a lot of minutes against Monaco the other day.
Are you off of Frimpong too? By the way, that's just a quick clarification. Are you mean by off as in like are you no longer thinking that Frimpong is the option at right back? You can answer that too, Lee. But I mean, do you think that Frimpong is not a fit for this club
right now? With him, the only sort of right back along with Ramsey fit, he has to be. There's no ifs or buts about it. I like Frimpong. I like his personality. I reckon I could chill with him. I think he's a cool guy. I reckon Slot's hold your horses football cost him his hamstrings. When at Leverkusen, he was given a free ticket up, down. He can do what he wanted, and he got on with it, and he smashed it. Come to Liverpool, meets a manager who's like, I'm going to play you. I'm even going to bring you into the club. And because you're from my country. But what I'm going to tell you is hold your horses, don't cross the halfway line. And if you do, then cross it in or whatever, you know what I mean? So it was like that free ticket was taken away from him. And his hamstrings paid the price for that. So Frimpong has to get his mind right with this manager. The manager was a right back. This guy is a right back. They need to sit down and have a cup of tea together. Because we need Frimpong to step up now.
Yeah, I think that Rab is saying that Frimpong is homegrown, which he is. He qualifies as a homegrown player since he played for City, right? Manchester City's youth club, right? Before turning 21. Ramsey, however, and this is why, again, I get into these debates or arguments, you can call them that sometimes, with people about allowing for our youth to go and play for other teams, especially considering they're not going to go play for a big name club. Okay, let's get it real. They're not going to play for another big name club. What if they have the opportunity to play for a team in the Premier League? That'd be fantastic. But not many Premier League teams are going to do that. They're not going to take on your youth academy players. Chances are simply on a loan deal because so that they can possibly, go with his learning curves and the likes, right? And why I'm bringing that up is because Ramsey was on target to be a homegrown player. However, after we purchased him from Aberdeen at 18, he went to, what's the name of that Scottish team that he went to? Does anyone know? It begins with K. Begins with a K.
Kilmarnock.
Kilmarnock. Right. Yes. Right. He went to Kilmarnock. Right. And because he went to the Scottish Premier side, right? It cut off the continuous England registration, basically, right? And as long if we had sent him to a team in Wales or if he played for another team in England, it would have been a different story. But because he went to a team in Scotland, that made him not that took away his opportunity to be a homegrown player, which is kind of unfortunate because that could have been unique. If he just played with the youth academy players, guess what? We have Calvin Ramsey sitting on our bench as a homegrown player, helping out the need for that cause.
Well, I'd love him to be, if it happened, like as a redemption thing, he could even just help us a bit. But it might not come to that. I can't really see him getting any action like once the league kicks off. Maybe in one of the cups, like there'd be a chance of seeing him the early cup rounds, like if the draws are favourable enough. But we have to wait and see, won't we? Well, Bradley's out until like October, maybe November.
Yeah,
he's out for another few weeks, before he's back.
Right. So you're looking at possibly a right back, a depth at right back being Frimpong starter, Araújo as a possible Araújo as a possible right back in that role, especially if Jeremy Jacquet can play, maybe he can play that along those lines. Maybe you're looking at Endo at right back. You're looking at, that's a last case scenario, obviously, and then who else? And then Ramsey, like I said earlier. And I think that this is, if anything, Calvin Ramsey needs to make the most of this opportunity right now with the injuries at hand. He can make a real shout to say, hey, get an opportunity to play against Newcastle or get an opportunity to play against Forest in those first couple of games, and all of a sudden he's a solidified shout, because he's not going on loan again, if not for permanent or for a permanent transfer.
Well, at least he has had some action on loans, and has played senior football and that, like. Just he hasn't played a lot for us, sadly, like. But
it's interesting.
The squad looks a bit thin in a few positions, doesn't it? So I don't think we're going to be buying anyone at right back. So he might get some action, mightn't he, in the early weeks of the season, Ramsey. And if he does himself justice, like, he could get even more action. And it will give us an extra option of somebody who is actually a right back instead of playing centre back. So Endo there or something, like, you know what I mean? Play him.
I don't know if I think Akipong or Akiapong, I believe his name, right? Or Akimpong. Josh Akimpong, right? I think something like that. Right?
There's a bit of
he's a Chelsea player that I think is, well, the JK probably would have a better idea of this when he comes back. He can attest to this, but I think that right back for Chelsea is going to Coventry City, possibly. I'm not certain. I'm not an ITK, but I think I did read something to that measure that's where he was possibly going to be going.
I've heard they have high hopes for him, Chelsea, in the future, like, so it probably probably something they're looking at doing is getting him a loan for a while. Like,
well, I think that he wants first team football. That's why, and at Coventry, he could probably get it, considering Coventry is going to make a concerted effort to obviously try to make an effort to stay in the Premier League this time around.
And that's what I will be supporting in honour of JK.
There you go. I'm supporting it too.
Of course. Coventry were always in the bloody from when I started knowing football. They were always there in the top division, and then they weren't, like, you know what I mean. But I grew up like with Coventry being in the top division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
I'm a Coventry fan, not only because of JK, but because of Haji Wright too.
Yeah, Haji Wright. Yeah.
That's my guy.
And where the stadium is that's where we used to play football and doss around, you know, when you're little and that. That's where it was just down the road from us. But they've revamped the whole stadium and it's got a casino in there. Well, what a casino in there! It's really nice, you know what I mean?
Wow.
They've got like a big 24-hour shopping centre right next door to it. So it was all done on the same land from the old days, you know. Look, and they've bought a few players. They bought a Ghanaian from Denmark. Looks good. He was in the World Cup as well. And who else? Like, for me, Harvey Elliott there would have been a good move for Harvey Elliott.
Oh, Harvey Elliott would have been boss there. He would have been boss. I think Harvey Elliott would have been boss there because he would have been able to take on a role of leadership, being a player that's played at, you know, champions level, top level football, played for some of the best coaches in the world. That experience, you know, the experience he brings from Mohamed Salah, you know, that he's taken with them. Yeah. And even though he's a young lad, he would still be a very, very influential person in the locker room, I think.
I think Coventry
I think he would take on that role.
They brought in Harmer. He's an old player, and he jumped ship and went to Sheffield United when they were in the Premier League. And then they brought him back now for $6 million off him. And he plays that sort of Elliott role anyway. So I'm not a fan of that. When a player leaves your club, and even though your club could be sort of better than that club as a whole, better stadium, better training facilities, whatever it is, and he jumps ship, what are you bringing him back for? So that's a wrong move for me. I don't like when clubs do that. If a guy is so adamant he wants to leave the club, yeah, fair enough. Sheffield United were already in the Premier League, and he wants to sort of play in the Premier League. I can understand that, but it was just the way he did it and stuff. He's a Brazilian player, good player, bro, good player. Yeah, I feel it's all about survival for these teams. Hull, Ipswich, and then Cov. Ipswich have been there before recently, so let's see how they get on as well. I think they're brought.
Ipswich is a good. I think Ipswich is a good team. I think they're a well-run team.
Yeah. They brought that Savage in from Fulham for 10 million.
Well coached too, by the way. Well coached. When I say well-run, I mean well coached as well.
So we'll see how it gets on. Look, guess who Coventry have got for the first 3 games? Yeah, I want to know. Arsenal away, Hull at home, and Man City away.
Wait, who they have? Who they have now?
They've got Arsenal away first, then next Friday is the first game of the season, and then they've got Hull away, Hull at home, Hull City.
That's going to be a draw.
And Man City away.
Away, win. So you're starting off the season right. 2 wins.
If they beat Man City away in their first, second away game, that'd be crazy. Like for me,
Haji Wright, game winner.
Arsenal, that'd be great. Imagine they get a point at Arsenal first game of the season.
Oh, it'd be great opening day. That'd be a great opening day result, and I think everyone would enjoy it because everyone's gone off Arsenal, even people who didn't used to care much about them after the shocking way they won the league, like with that shit football. I think everyone's dying for them to come a cropper, and it would be hilarious if they were denied a point or beaten by Coventry on the opening day. I mean, a point that'd be the one just taking 2 points off them, you know what I mean?
That'd be great. And the thing is, we don't really do shows with other fans. Like us like we're all Liverpool fans, you know what I mean? But you got shows where there's a mixture of everything: Chelsea, United, Arsenal. These Arsenal boys have been like, yeah, we're the greatest. Imagine they won the Champions League as well against PSG in that final. Imagine they did that. It would have been the worst
That would
summer
have been
ever.
that would have been the worst summer ever. But
I couldn't watch no show. It would be just
yeah, I probably
horrible.
would have given up on the internet if that had happened. Um, I want to talk to you about something, guys. There's two segments I have left here, and then we'll come up with the moment of red sand here. But there's been something called, or something I'm calling the 70-minute Liverpool. And what I mean by the 70-minute Liverpool is, Liverpool can definitely reach some new high levels this season with the amount of like interest and obviously attention that we're going to be putting back towards the press, back towards the intensity and the likes, right? But can we sustain? Do you think we can sustain the intensity that we need to bring back that heavy metal football that we talked about, or that we know about, to this team? Can we sustain 90 minutes of it? And not only can we sustain 90 minutes of it, can we sustain an entire season of playing that style of football?
What I would say straight off the bat is yes, we can do it, but not immediately. Like it won't like be straight away that we can just go back to that from where we were under Arnie. It's going to take a little bit of feeling about rummaging in the dark, like to find it properly, like what we're looking for and what he's looking for. But once we have, then we can have like 90 minutes, full 90 minutes where we're right at it, and we've got enough subs on the bench of enough talent to keep the the results sweet type of thing. We can definitely do that. We can go back to pressing, more exciting front foot football, yeah. FFF, front foot football. This is what we want.
Front foot football. Like
Not
F.
back foot boredom.
Rather than Triple H, triple F.
Well, we had back foot boredom, didn't we, last season under Arnie, like BFB, back foot boredom, like, you know what I mean? Sitting off teams and that, like, and trying to feel them out, and then, like, them getting on top of us and all this crap, like, you know what I mean? So
that's the thing. Yeah, go ahead, finish.
No, I was just going to say, hopefully, like, we can dispel the bad tastes in our mouths and the nightmarish visions in our mind of last season, of some of the worst bits of it, and just have this new start. But like I said, it's not going to be immediate. We're not stupid, are we? We've been watching football long enough to know that it takes a little bit of time for a new guy. Like the thing with Arnie, it was a bit different. He come in and it was just the right season for it. You know what I mean? Because like City fell off and all that shit, like, which had never happened before. And he was able to do it, like, with what Klopp had left him. But a little bit different, and the squad's a little bit less even than when Slot walked in now, because it's moved about a bit, like, in places, and we definitely need a few signings. But, like, in the fullness of time, we can definitely get back to that front foot, pressing, attacking football. Because we're Liverpool, like, and that's how we should play.
Well,
that's how we always have played, mostly, and that's how we should play.
Yeah, like when Liverpool presses perfectly, obviously we have the moves, we have the 10 that's move in correlation to the striker, they work as a tandem. You have the 8s, we're playing 4-3-3. Playing a 4-2-3-1, different story. We obviously have our midfield squeeze the effort of those channels. The fullback, we have the fullbacks advancing, being able to go and bomb forward. We have center backs stepping up and playing that high line. The distance is like they all compress, basically, is what I'm trying to say, and everything works. We've seen it work before. We've had possibly some of the best times of our lives watching Bobby and Mane and the likes, of Hendo and Ginny, like all working together as a consortium, or I keep using that word now, but as a group, properly pressing and knowing when to press, how much spacing is necessary and the likes. But if Liverpool are still not physically ready, if you don't think that we're physically ready at Newcastle, would you compromise a high intensity Iraola system? Would you say maybe we need to do this in stages rather than go, 100% all in on trying to make it heavy metal? What do you think? Or what do you think? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Like the last two games, first halves, you could tell the managers getting into the mindsets of these players because they were great first halves, both the Leeds game and the Monaco game. So the transition's happening. That's why I'm pretty chilled out. I'm not, what's happening, this and that.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen in players and in the team effort in first halves in both them games, soon as the changes were made, too many changes and blah, 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 we sort of crumbled. But for me, I've seen signs of the manager making a difference. Fair play to him, man. I like this manager. I think he's got this seriousness about him. He isn't there for the cameras, you know what I mean? He ain't that type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a player. So I've seen.
Are you willing to have these setbacks of a team learning, maybe reacquiring, that muscle memory to do that kind of football? Because we're going to see times when they maybe they look sluggish, or maybe when they just don't look like they're on the right page, which we've seen in some captions. I understand that is, maybe also because it's players that don't normally play together, or maybe it's because it's players that maybe don't have the caliber to play that type of football, or likes, and yada 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 yada, whatever it could be the scenario. Are you willing to go through that? Because we need to have a I'm not saying a season that we win the Premier League. I know a lot of us have already factioned our minds around the fact that we most likely aren't the favorites to win. Anything can happen, but not the favorites to win this season. But if we put something together, maybe we could find something happen. But most likely, we're going to have ups and downs this season. We're going to have some difficult moments. Are you ready? And are you ready for those moments?
That's the journey of the way football is. You're going to have journeys up and downs, this, that, and the other. Of course, compared to last season, anything's going to be better than that. So, as long as I see progression in the mindset of the players, look at Klopp when he first came in. It took him a while to get his first win as Liverpool manager. I was there at the stadium at Anfield when it happened, so I was like, okay, sorted. The journey begins now. So, I've got patience with this manager. Football, you need patience, long as the progression's there, that's why a lot of fans lose interest quickly in a manager, because they don't see no progression.
They don't see the progression. Exactly.
They don't feel it. And with Arne Slot, I was like, I'm not giving Arne Slot no more money to buy in the transfer market. Why? Because it was the same rubbish that he gave us last season. He spent $500 million, and we were worse than what he was the season before. So for me, this manager's sound. We'll give him the time. And I think I feel sorry for him because of that Edwards Hughes news, the owners selling up, and this and that. All that's going on behind the scenes. He's actually saying, I need a few more players here.
Yeah.
And that's why I like him. He was thinking as a fan. And he was actually saying what we were saying. We need this, this, and that. Fair play to him, man. He got my respect when he said that. Maybe you should tell the owners that directly and not on the camera. You take it as you want. But at the end of the day, at least we know this guy's awake.
The last segment I have here is I do want to talk about this young man more, maybe sometime more this week, but there is a player that has been a standout player for us this preseason. Other than Rio, other than Trey, we've had two big stars from our youth academy. Obviously, really highlight the conversation. But there's been a third. There's been a third star to that constellation. Maybe the third star of Orion's belt. Okay, and that name has been Ndukwe. There's some talks that he might be on the route to Como as being the team that we end up loaning him off to. It's been frustrating because, obviously that the situation is he can't get working papers to play in England. I think you could possibly count that, hey, to those that voted for Brexit, these are some of the things that you end up getting. But yeah, Brexit was a mess. It has messed up a lot of different things. But preseason has done exactly what you want preseason to do. It's revealed a player. He looked composed. He looked athletic, comfortable to be playing alongside senior players. If he cannot currently play competitive football in England, the next decision is, where do you send him? Like I said, Como's a good team, but you need the wrong loan could be a big club. You got nice facilities, fantastic, but big club, nice facilities, 5 appearances, that's not the move. You could have something where you have the right loan, good coaching, serious league. He gets regular starts. He's got responsibilities that he has to garner. I think this is what matters the most, and that's why what matters more for Ndukwe for you too. Is it he needs to go to the highest quality league, or is it he needs to go somewhere where he has guaranteed football at a slightly maybe lower league, lower level? And where would you send him?
Wherever they feel is the best place for him at the stage he is now, at the experience level and talent level he is now, to try and find the best, so he can have games. He might not want to. They might want to keep him here. Like, I don't mean to play because if the guys are fit, he's not going to get a look in. We know this, but it would make sense, wouldn't it? To get him a loan to somewhere so he's playing first team football, whatever level it may be, whatever do you think would suit him at this particular juncture. It sounds good because he did look good. He was the main bright spot, wasn't he? Of the pre-season tournament of the UPC. And Kumas was good. Trey we already knew about, but it was good to see him too. A couple of others were okay as well and did their bit. But Ndukwe was, we had to rely on him. We really had to rely on him, didn't we? And he didn't really let us down. Yeah, we lost a couple of games, but I mean, it's not on him.
How about for you, JK?
For sure, game time. Trevor Chalobah took him away the other day. The centre back from Chelsea. So I don't know. Will he get game time? Fabregas is the manager still. Up and coming club. I'm not sure if it's the right move. I reckon a German club would have been sound. Union Berlin or Mainz or somewhere like that, I think that would have been maybe a better move with game time. I don't know where Como are at now squad-wise. He's a young lad, bro. So it's the same sort of way. Would we play him? Bar injuries, he wouldn't really start any games, if you understand what I mean. He'll be sitting with us with the players on the bench and doing all that sort of stuff. Maybe get the odd 5-10 minutes here and there, you know what I mean? But just being around the players like Trey was, and now Trey's really getting more game time. I think that's what they can do with this lad. Just let him sort out the paperwork and stuff.
Do you think maybe it's a good move to send him back to Austria? Maybe.
Yeah, Italy's definitely a better sort of level up than Austria.
Mm-hmm. I just think that in Austria, he's definitely going to get playing time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's got to be somewhere where he'll play. If there's doubts that he'd play in Italy, then, somewhere like Austria would be ideal, which is reasonable standard, league. It's not brilliant, but, it's
where we got him.
Garbage or nothing. It's not garbage, like.
My point is, it's where we got him from. It's where we got him from. So, I mean, it's not like, obviously, they've done a good enough job to engineer his talents to be at a level where he's comparable to be in this league or play in this league at some facet or at least in some eventual escalation of his career.
Well, it didn't go well for Besiktas because Linda's got sacked at Salzburg, did it? But there's some good teams, and it'd be a good move, that I reckon, yeah. I'd be on that one if that was a possibility. Because he did look exciting in the way that, he's such a young player, like, you can't get too excited, and it's always the way a young player, you can never expect to see them, like, properly but, like, you can hope for them to make it through all the way, like, can't you? And, loan moves are a big part of that, aren't they, like, to get senior football, whatever league or division it might be in, and wherever it may be. It's a good thing, and for young players.
It is. I remember when we got this player in, or when we made the move for Ndupe, and he kind of like went under the radar a little bit by a lot of people. He was a big signing, or he's one of our first signings actually for this new, this new campaign, and yet, not many people really were. He says, "Oh, he's just an Austrian player," joining the club. There was more attention drawn towards some of the other names that were brought in, like Jeremy Jacquet, obviously Leone, that was brought
even in. Even Dye probably got more press, didn't he? Like coming in,
exactly,
because he come in with another player as well. Like, but we heard more about him.
Yep. But he has stood out. I mean, he stands out on the pitch. I mean, he's with his his hair and his large frame. He stands out on the pitch incredibly. So, but yeah, I'm excited. There is still a chance that we could see this guy play too. By the way, for Liverpool this season. I'll probably do a little segment on it more tomorrow or sometime this week. But there is a way that we could see him play for us in January, send him out on loan until January, and then he could return off a loan, and if he gets enough starts, if he gets enough playing time in England, or not, excuse me, in Europe especially, then you could see him definitely return to Liverpool and actually get his work permit. So it's a possibility. All right, people. Anything else on your mind? We're coming up on the 2-hour mark. We've talked about a lot of stuff.
How long the Barcola deal is going to take, and is it ever going to happen? And I'm wondering, are we going to buy any midfielders now, like central midfielders? The later the hour gets, the less likely it looks.
I think midfield is probably one of the last things that you'll see us do.
I'm starting to get that feeling now myself in the pit of my stomach.
It's taking too long. Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to get started on any of the midfielders we've got now and say the shit, we've got to go, any of that crap. I'm not into that. But what I will say is there needs to be more of them. There needs to be more options and people with different skill set, as in winning the ball. Yeah, like you said, 12 asked the question before. I can't remember if I mentioned it. And we do need a DM. I want a DM. Just a good DM. I mean, there are people out there. We must be able to find someone who can win the ball better than the guys we've got now. We've got Endo, but now that's not it going forward. Too old as well. I like Manu Kone. I mean, why not go for the best one available? And he was in the France squad, in the France team, and that way. And we've been linked with him before. Try and get Manu Kone in, and then take it from there. Once he's in, see who suits playing with him best behind Wirtz. Out of
Are you? What's the other guy? Did you? I don't know if you already just said it or not. Kamara.
Yeah.
He's a name that was been thrown around.
He played the other
Not
day against
interested.
us, yeah?
Yeah, the Monaco guy, yeah.
So on his debut, I guess, on his audition, was he something that you were overwhelmed and wowed by?
Well, I didn't see the whole game. I've only seen the highlights, unfortunately.
JK then. How about that? Was he?
I didn't really notice him, bro. We went 2-0 up, and then he got substituted. I think at half time. So yeah.
Okay, you're like so.
No, I was expecting more from him. Yeah.
Well, I have a moment of red zen for us. We'd like to end our episodes lately. That's one of the mainstays that we're trying to keep incorporating in the. I don't find them all the time. There's always red zen is always just being a red in general, but trying to find an image of red zen can be sometimes difficult. Sometimes, but I had this as our moment of red zen because I saw this photo and I saw it, and I had to make sure I wasn't looking at Chris Helmsworth, I think, who plays Thor or something like that. But anyway, let me make the image larger for you. Unfortunately for StreamYard, they make they hide. It's difficult to sometimes to enlarge this. But Macca has had a rough year, to say the least. But here's to what looks like a reinvigorated, a hopefully focused Argentine that is going to hopefully be committed and focused to bringing us silverware this year. I saw this. I thought it was ice with his hair all slicked back.
Who's that there?
That's Macca.
The new James Bond.
What? That's McAllister.
Yeah, that's Macca.
Well, is that what he looks like now, or is this from years ago?
No, that's him. I'll show you the original picture.
Mate, yeah, that must have been from years ago. That.
No, he's got his hair short, hasn't he? I think like that.
Didn't recognise him.
Yeah.
I thought it was bloody Carriers or someone at first.
Let me see if I can find the photo for you. Hold on. Oops, I know this one's think of. Yeah, I got that Turkish hairdo. Yeah. I know he's got this short cut, but that's like that was what he's trying to return. That's the Macca that we're trying to see return. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Let me see if I can find the photo for you guys. Hold on. I can't find it. Hold on. Let me see if I can put it in here for you guys. I was gonna do that. Hold on. I'm looking at it. I'm hoping Macca returns with some renewed faith in his talents. I think that I see a lot of what people have turned sour on Macca. I'm not saying that they're wrong in doing so by considering what he's shown, but
Well, he's just got a really good pre-season with the World Cup going all the way to the final, mate. You know what I mean? He's back now or something like so. He didn't really need to be here for that. He had a rest and let's see what he can do. I still like him as a player. I was talking about a ball winner then, DM. I mean, he's a good little ball winner, tenacious and that, but he isn't a DM and hasn't got the legs to get about quickly, like, and chase people and that. But he's a great little ball winner, like, when he doesn't have to do any chasing. Like, he can put challenges in and win the ball for sure.
think this was this photo. So the story behind this photo is Dominic Szoboszlai posted this photo of Alexi McAllister, trying to make it look like he had, you know how Dominic Szoboszlai has the man bun sometimes?
Yeah.
He
Trying to
tried
portray him. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Trying to portray himself as a trendsetter in the hairstyles for stage. You mean, Dom, go and look at this. Even Mac's doing it now. You're on my hair, mate.
You're right.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's something different. Wet back on top and long at the back.
Yeah. Because this is the image of them, or this is the image of Ali and Macca walking in. Hold on, I'll share my screen here. This is the image of them walking into bring this down, bring this up. This is them walking into, I believe, into the AXA. I'm not positive though, but that's where, see how this is the same outfit basically, and Dominic Szoboszlai was trying to, just.
Well, you'd have to say Ali looks like he's about to preach the Sermon on the Mount there, like. If that white T-shirt was like a white robe down to his feet, maybe, and he probably has got sandals on, but yeah, he looked the part. Just take the shades off, because that's a bit
that beard is
disrespectful.
serious. Yeah, that beard is serious. It is something. It's just a fun. There's a funny take. That's all. Where else it was too. He had fun with it.
It's turkey neck that concerns me, not turkey feet or turkey teeth. Like I'm getting to a certain age now where before too long I'll have a turkey neck. Remember Wenger's used to be funny, like, because they used to like draw pictures of him as like like a hen or something with the turkey neck in the paper. Can't kick, won't kick.
Right. Let me see if I can do this real quick too to find out what it says. I'll show you Alexi McAllister posted this on his Instagram too, as well. That picture that I just showed you of him going through what looks like the Turkish Hair Club for Men segment.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, I get it now. It's all becoming clear. Yeah.
Hold on, let me see, but make sure what it says here. Let's ask. Let me ask. This was what it kind of looked like. This is the original. I don't know if I showed you the original. This was the original that he had on there. And then, 1 second, let me do one last thing, because I just want to make sure what it says. I don't speak Spanish myself, so.
Players and their style and not like some of them like look good. Like the ones that don't go too mad like and like dress up like an idiot. Like some players have got style. I've seen it, but many have not. It has to be said.
I think he did, by the way, have a hair transplant. By the way, let me double check that.
Oh no way! That'd be interesting. Because if he didn't and he went long at the back, he'd risk, having a slull it, wouldn't he? Like, and getting into Michael Bolton territory.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's double check.
Well, Herzl has had one. I never twigged, and usually I'm good at seeing, but I never knew Herzl. Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, Herzl has had it done.
Let me double check. Yeah. So, The reason why it is because of this. Here, I'll show you the actual post that he made. Okay, so this was the post right here. Everyone's riveted by this. They're gonna be talking about this all day. All right, this is what it said. This is what he posted, right? And what that says in very rough Spanish is de volta al entrenamiento, el implante funciona rápido, estoy igual a vos, Vasilai Dominic. And he's saying, English, back to training. The implant worked quickly. I'm the same as Dominic Szoboszlai.
Mate, I love it. Yeah, seen that one there. Implante. Yeah, El Implante. So he's done it. He's gone and done it. Mad one. Mad one.
So for those that are thinking that maybe Dominic Szoboszlai had to return to his status of player that we all wanted to see him become, maybe Macca with his hair implant becomes the same. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, he's got an advantage over Wayne Rooney in that Macca isn't bad looking, like, whereas Rooney is hideous, like, facially, like, so to top that off with the sewed on rug is just like the ultimate embarrassment.
Yeah. Business at the front, party at the back, definitely. Peter says he needs a 1980s Liverpool perm. That would be fantastic, by the way.
My stepdad had one. He didn't have it for long, though. But he had one. There's photos of him, like, with it. Like, he looked stupid. And he had the muzzy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be fantastic. This is a little fun. I think that's great that he's coming back with a little bit of fun in his heart. I think it's funny.
Do you know what? I don't blame them. It's like an image-obsessed world now, and I don't blame them. You know, if you can put up with the people giggling, like, and just like, you know, it's like a thingy. But yeah, I don't blame them. And the teeth thing, the eye thing's another one now. If you like got glasses, you have your eyes zapped, like, and you've got 20/20 vision again. Why not? If you've got money.
Yes, and again, that is, he posted this on his Instagram. And Lexi McAllister posted on his Instagram, and obviously it's obviously AI generated photo of himself looking like Dominic Szoboszlai. Well, I hope that he can play like Dominic Szoboszlai played last season. How about that? Let's just say that. That's where I'm coming with. That's at least where I'm going with this whole conversation. So we'll see. We'll see.
I'm shocked. I thought you were messing around. It was just like a jokey moment of saying that was an old picture of him. But like, you know,
no. That was I saw that and I was like, I'm like, who is? I thought it was. What? I thought it was Chris Hemsworth from like Thor.
Yeah, I thought footballer first on Carriers Beckham with everybody else there. But yeah, he looks like a film star or something, don't he?
Yeah, and then I saw it was like, then I saw it was Alexi McAllister that posted it. Then I'm thinking like, but that's not really. Alexi McAllister does have short hair or has, you know, long.
Well, we seen him in the World Cup only weeks ago, and it was short.
I know.
So like he's grown the back incredibly quickly. If he hasn't got the, because you don't need to do that. You don't go bald at the back, do you? So I'm wondering, like, is the back bit real, or is he just gone the whole hog because he couldn't be asked waiting to grow it at the back? He's went do the back as well. You know what I mean?
I don't know. He said he was. He says speaking to. He was speaking to some resource or some media. He says, I was a bald guy with hair. Now I'm a bald guy with a bald head.
Well, I remember the goal. He used to make me laugh, Bobby Mahailov. remember when we first seen him from the World Cup with Bulgaria, and he was bald, and then he comes to Reading, and he had this curly one, curly, it was curly as well, like, just diving all over the place with it still, like, firmly attached to his head. That was when it was new, because, like, before that, it just weren't there, I don't think. That was when it became a new thing, like. I keep thinking of the guy out of Goodfellas, Maurice Wiggs. God, that was funny, that. Maurice Wiggs.
Maurice Wiggs. All right, people, we're going to be out. We got a little extra over the 2-hour mark here. But before it gets too late for I know it's almost going on 1 o'clock for JK and almost midnight for Lee. And those that are in the UK, I'm going to bid adieu. I'm going to let Lee say peace out to all that he wants to. Say goodbye to.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for being in. And we'll keep the faith with the old club and team that we decided to support long ago. And just hope that the next couple of weeks turn something up for us, transfer-wise, like. And hopefully that'll, sort everyone's head out and that, and we can start the season, man. Yeah. Cheers, everyone. Anyway, thanks.
Definitely. JK, go ahead and say peace.
Yeah, best up to the panel as always, and also the chat as always. I'm sort of looking forward to the season, but I reckon if we just get 3 more players in, it'll look even better. So let's see what the next week brings, And press like on the video if you can. That'd be cool.
Yeah, the simple mission to this show is to hit the like button when you log in. Hit the like button. Make it a habit. That way you don't have to be reminded. You don't have to be told at the end like we sometimes have to do. But I don't keep an eye on how many likes I have during the videos. I just let it happen organically. But then again, I am trying to stuff the ballot. So stuff the ballot box by telling you to hit that like button when you join. So I appreciate it. I appreciate this panel. Big up to Lee. Big up to JK. Big up to Nalante, who's out there, I'm sure. And big up to every red out there that supports this channel. We're getting close to the 1,000 mark. Hopefully we can get there soon and push on to even higher levels so that we can continue to have great episodes. And also maybe, hopefully, once we get to those levels, I'll be able to bring in some of the contacts that I have in the football world to join the conversation. I know some of them are looking forward to that, I'm sure. So until then, I hope that everyone's well, stays well, and of course, up the Reds each and every time. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.